what brings you to what we're here to talk about, right? Which is hacks. What gets you there, right? What
Yeah.
part of that journey gets you there?
So in 2015, I published my research. That had been my life basically for the previous 8 years, was just building this community, giving stuff away, documenting it, building stuff, documenting, building community, helping organize events. And then it hit around 2015, and there was then sort of this like emptiness after about 6 months where it was like, I'm not researching anything anymore. And I've been doing nothing but research for almost a decade at some level. So we went to a conference, and there was like 6 of us there, I think. It was a Drupal event. And it was sort of like, what's like going to be the next big thing? You know, like, because we've been doing Drupal now for like a decade. So like, that's not the next thing, right? Like there has to be something that would be after that. And we envisioned a way of editing the web that didn't involve systems. It was just on the front end. Component architecture had been a concept that had been discussed since about 2010, 2012-ish. And so like you're starting to see these block ecosystems that front-end developers could use to sort of quickly stitch things together, but it was still very technical. And so we kind of envisioned, okay, could we make those blocks in such a way that an editor could just place the blocks? We had technologies like CK Editor, like TinyMCE, which for those unfamiliar, if you've edited content in Canvas, you're using TinyMCE. Like it's a very popular text authoring tool. Very easy for developers like me to integrate. A little more complicated to write plugins for, just because like it forces you into certain UX patterns that aren't the best, in my opinion. And so wrote this napkin idea down, didn't do anything with it. And then like it would just sit there. Like I had I don't know what I did with the paper, but like I had the paper, and like this idea would just come up when I would need like a palette cleanse from what I was working on. Like, I'm going to see if I can't do that. And I'd get a little further down the line with my jQuery plugins, which is a very popular, but just very outdated way of structuring JavaScript. And it would never get there. And in 2016, still doing it, never get there. So we go back to this same event. It's 2 years later now. And this idea comes up again because we're showing now we've adopted component architecture in our applications. And we don't feel like we're experts, but yet at this event, everybody is like, wait, you're using component architecture to build applications so that people can headlessly make content. And so for clarity, people at that time were making websites. They use these blocks so that you, the end user, can see the website, right? It just makes it easier for them to build the website, okay? Right. And then you get standardization in visuals. What we were doing is we were building new interfaces for content authors to hit like add content and then fill out a form. And that was all the components. And then hit save. And then it was submitting to the website. And then it would render back out as components. And so we weren't really building in Drupal anymore. We were building this like ecosystem above Drupal that talked to Drupal. And we went to this conference to get feedback on it. And everyone there was like, you're
the next thing.
we're not even close to that. And so we went back to the hotel room, and I was like, my buddy, Mike Potter, was like, Bud, like, I know that this is the direction to go. We're not in the right room right now. Like we're not around the right crowd. I don't know how to get, like, I need challenged on these ideas because like, this is, I can tell you right now, not a sustainable way of building. And he's like, I know, that's why I've been telling you to look at web components. And I'm like, that's what we're looking at, buddy. I'm looking at components. And he's like, no, you're looking at a component library. I'm talking about a web standard. And finally I sat still long enough, not going to events and like, preparing talks or writing Drupal modules, which is very different type of job from what I'm describing. I just sat down and he sent me this video. He said, watch this video. We're just hanging out, hotel room, having a few beers after an event. And like, as I'm watching this guy from Google describe this technical approach, I'm like, I can build that thing that was on the napkin. I can build anything now.